It is 2 in the morning. The house is quiet. The street outside has gone still. And somewhere in that thick, heavy silence, the mattress shifts. Your dog circles once, maybe twice. Then they settle beside you like they have done 100 nights before. One paw stretches across your blanket. Their breathing slows. Within minutes, they are asleep. Most people focus on the dog in that moment. They talk about pack instincts. They talk about warmth, habit, comfort, or even behavioral conditioning. But the more interesting question is not about the dog, it is about you. Because the real psychological signal is not that your dog climbed into the bed. It is that you let them stay. You moved slightly to the side. You adjusted the blanket. You made space without even thinking about it. And that small, almost invisible decision reveals something profound about how your mind is wired. People who allow their dogs to sleep beside them tend to share a very specific psychological profile. Their personality structure places connection above control, comfort above rigid rules, presence above perfection. And modern psychology has a lot to say about what that actually means for your character. Segment 1. The Agreeableness Factor. The first clue appears in one of the most widely used personality models in psychology, the Big Five. Researchers often measure personality across 5 major traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Among dog owners who allow close physical contact with their pets, one trait consistently stands out: agreeableness. People high in agreeableness value harmony above almost everything else. They prefer cooperation over dominance. They do not see relationships as competitions to win or hierarchies to enforce. For decades, older training philosophies, rooted in a misunderstanding of wolf dynamics, warned owners that allowing a dog on the bed would weaken your authority. The idea was that the bed symbolized power. Whoever controlled the sleeping space controlled the house. But people high in agreeableness rarely think in those terms. They do not look at a dog climbing into bed and see a challenge to their status. They see a gesture of trust. Psychologists describe this mindset as a prosocial orientation. It means your brain tends to prioritize relationships and emotional balance rather than status or control. If you are the kind of person who makes room for your dog without hesitation, you probably do something similar in other areas of life. You notice tension in conversations before others do. You often step in to calm disagreements. You prefer cooperation to confrontation. In a culture that often celebrates dominance, this kind of emotional orientation reflects a personality that understands a simple but powerful truth. Relationships work better when safety replaces authority. Segment 2. The biological anchor in a hypervigilant world. There is also a deep biological layer to this behavior. During the day, many of us operate in a constant state of alertness. Deadlines, responsibilities, digital stimulation, and the relentless pace of 2026 keep our nervous systems active long after the workday ends. Neuroscientists call this hypervigilance. Your brain scans for problems, it plans ahead, it analyzes risks. Even when you lie down at night, the mental engine often keeps running, cycling through what-ifs and to-do lists. This is where the presence of another living creature becomes vital. Research on biobehavioral synchrony shows that mammals naturally regulate their nervous systems through proximity. When 2 bonded individuals rest near each other, their breathing patterns and heart rhythms begin to align. Studies observing human-animal interaction show that physical contact with dogs can significantly lower cortisol levels and increase oxytocin in both species. Oxytocin is the neurochemical associated with trust, bonding, and emotional safety. It is the social glue of the mammalian brain. In simple terms, your nervous system reads the calm, steady breathing of your dog as a signal that the environment is safe. Their presence becomes a biological anchor. Your breathing slows. Your heart rate stabilizes. Your body finally shifts out of alert mode and into rest and digest mode. So, if you sleep better with your dog nearby, that is not a weakness or a clingy habit. It is your nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do. Sometimes the quiet breathing of a dog beside you does more for your mental health than a silent clinical room ever could. Segment 3. Complexity over cleanliness. Another psychological pattern appears in how you approach order and control in your home. Some individuals prefer environments that feel perfectly organized and predictable. They value clear rules, clean surfaces, and strong, rigid boundaries between human space and animal space. There is nothing wrong with that. It reflects a personality style high in structure orientation. But people who share their bed with a dog often show a different pattern, a tolerance for complexity. You accept that life is not perfectly controlled. You allow a little unpredictability into your most private sanctuary. You are willing to trade a small amount of order for a larger amount of emotional meaning. A dog in the bed means fur on the blanket. It means less space. It means occasionally waking up with a paw pressed against your ribs. And yet, you accept these inconveniences because they come attached to something far more valuable: companionship. This reveals that you choose authenticity over aesthetic perfection. Your home is not a display space designed to look flawless for guests or social media. It is a living environment where relationships take precedence over appearances. People with this mindset often show a healthy skepticism toward curated perfection. They understand that real life is a little messy, a little chaotic, and that the mess is often where the meaning lives. Segment 4. The strength of creating space. In psychology, attachment theory describes how we respond to closeness. People with secure attachment styles tend to feel comfortable both giving and receiving support. Letting your dog sleep beside you reflects this kind of emotional balance. You are comfortable sharing space. You do not feel threatened by closeness, and you do not need rigid barriers to maintain your sense of self. Interestingly, people who sleep on the very edge of the bed because their dog sprawls across the middle often display a trait called protective empathy. You naturally adjust your own behavior to keep others comfortable. You do not see that as a loss of power. You see it as part of caring. While in unhealthy human relationships, self-sacrifice can be problematic, in this context it carries a different meaning. It shows that your sense of strength does not come from dominating space. It comes from creating space. People who possess this kind of empathy often make the strongest leaders and the most reliable friends. They understand that true security grows from care rather than control. They don't need to win the bed to feel like they are in charge of their lives. Segment 5. The ancestral return. There is one final layer that most people rarely consider. For almost all of human history, sleeping alone was considered unusual, even dangerous. Early humans rested in groups. Families slept close together, and the warmth of other bodies provided safety from predators. Anthropologists call this collective rest. Our nervous systems evolved in an environment where the sound of other breathing bodies meant safety. The completely isolated solo bedroom is a very recent modern invention. When a dog curls beside you at night, something ancient quietly returns to your subconscious. The sound of breathing, the warmth of another living creature, the sense that someone else is sharing the watch while you sleep. People who accept this arrangement often display a stronger nature connection orientation. You do not see yourself as separate from the natural world. You see yourself as a participant in it. Your dog is not just a pet occupying furniture. They are part of the small social group your brain recognizes as the pack. And that recognition touches a layer of biology that predates modern society by tens of thousands of years. Final blow. So, the next time someone tells you that letting your dog sleep in your bed is a sign of poor discipline, consider the bigger picture. They are looking at a rule. You are responding to a relationship. What they see as disorder, psychology sees as emotional intelligence. What they label as indulgence, science labels as empathy, cooperation, and trust. Your dog did not choose your bed randomly. They chose the place where they feel safest in the entire world. And the fact that you allowed them to stay says something important about the person you are. You are someone who values connection more than rigid structure. Someone whose nervous system understands the power of shared calm. Someone who prefers a living, breathing home to a perfectly controlled one. In a world that often encourages isolation and distance, your mindset stands out. Your bed is not just where you sleep, it is a quiet, nightly statement about your character. You are a person who chooses warmth over walls, presence over perfection, and sometimes a little less mattress space in exchange for a whole lot more heart. I'll see you in the next one.